Reports have it that the LTO, or the Land Transportation Office, just recently released a memorandum clarifying the rule with regard to the proper use and installation of lights for motorcycles. To further clarify the clarifying memo, we have invited to Motoring Today Mr. Roberto Valera, Chief of Traffic and Safety Division of the LTO. Good afternoon, Mr. Valera, and welcome to Motoring Today.
Good afternoon, Boots, and all the viewers of Motoring Today.
Now, with regard to a reportedly new memorandum of the LTO clarifying guidelines for the use of light-emitting diode, or LED, or high-intensity discharge light for motorcycles, for the benefit of our bikers, would you kindly discuss these guidelines more in detail?
Yes, this memorandum circular was issued last March 15, 2016. It pertains to the rules and regulations concerning motorcycle lights. Actually, these guidelines are already contained in the Administrative Order number ACL 2009-018, which guides our inspectors relative to the inspections of these motor vehicles, as to the modifications as well as the equipment of the motor vehicles. So as far as the LED is concerned, or the high intensity discharge lights from the motorcycles, for the head, they are guided by the following. For the headlamps, it should be white or yellowish in color, and for the tail lights or brake lights, it should be red. And well, as far as the LED lights are concerned, the guidelines provides that we will only allow 2 auxiliary or supplementary lights lamps for the motorcycles, and which will contain a maximum of 6 bulbs per auxiliary or supplementary light lamps. And these lamps should not be pointed upwards, where it will cause distraction to the oncoming traffic or riders or drivers, because LED lights emit so strong, they are measured in terms of lumens, that it will cause temporary blindness of 10 to 12 seconds if it hits the eyes directly. So those are, in other words, these if there will be attachments with regards to LED lights, they should be attached to the motorcycle, but they should be moved. They should not be fixed on a permanent fixtures, but they could be moved so that they can be pointed downwards instead of upwards. And so in other words, we allowed modifications of these motor vehicles, including motorcycles, as long as they conform to our standards. Of course, the standards will come from the Bureau of Product Standards of DTI.
What about the use of fog lights? Would you clarify this too?
Where, as far as the administrative order that I mentioned a while ago, Boots, fog lights are optional. They may be allowed. However, there will be some restrictions with regard to their use. Like, they can only be used during heavy fog or heavy rains. In other words, they will not be allowed to be used in the cities where the visibility is very clear. So in other words, fog lights may be installed as long as they can be covered by any or it could be a leather cover or any type of cover if they are not in use. Otherwise, they might be liable. The driver might be liable, and he'll be apprehended for installation of these fog lights. And fog lights should be for four-wheel motor vehicles. The LTO allows the use of 2 fog lights, but only 1 fog light will be allowed for motorcycles. And of course, fog lights at the rear will have also will be required to have to be at the use of the red color, and fog lights in front should emit a white or yellowish color.
The use of Wang has been banned by the past administration. Will you still prohibit this when the new president takes over?
Yes, in fact, that's our practice ever since, because there's a law that provides for its regulation. That's PD 96. In other words, only motor vehicles used for emergency, like ambulances, fire trucks, and of course, law enforcement motor vehicles are allowed to use blinkers as well as sirens. So those motor vehicles that are not allowed by law to use these equipments will be subject to apprehension, and the sirens or blinkers are subject to confiscation of LTO.
Now, can you give us the corresponding penalties for the violations we mentioned earlier?
Well, there's a provision in the Joint Administrative Order which provides a penalty for unauthorized modifications of motor vehicles. That is, I believe, 5,000 pesos for the violation of prohibitions or modifications of accessories of motor vehicles.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Valera. Before we end, any message to our viewers relevant to this issue?
Well, both as far as the LTO is concerned, we update our regulations which conforms to the new technologies that are introduced on motor vehicles. These modifications may be allowed as long as they are properly regulated. LED lights, use of LED lights are allowed as long as they conform to the standards set by the Bureau of Product Standards at DTI, and of course LTO conducts the inspection based on these standards. So from time to time we'll come up with issuances clarifying our policies with regards to the use of accessories, in this case the use of LED lights. Thank you.
Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, Boots, and happy motoring.
Mr. Roberto Valera, Chief of Traffic and Safety Division of the LTO, our guest this week on Motoring Today's Motoring Forum, clarifying further a recent LTO memorandum regarding motorcycle lights.